and what doesn't create psychological safety? When do you not feel safe in an environment or a culture, either at home or at work? What puts you emotionally at edge? Again, whether you're aware of it or not, your environment impacts and affects your thoughts, which impact and affect your emotions, which impact and affect your ultimately your performance, your results, outcomes, performance, and engagement and impact. Welcome to the EQ Gangster podcast, where you will learn practical tools to grow your mental and emotional health and intelligence to be the best version of yourself, both at work and at home. It is real, raw, and transformational. The journey of emotional growth isn't easy, but it's worth it. I believe in you. EQ Gangsters, what's up? Okay, so this episode is going to be about creating psychological safety and the importance and impact of being able to create psychological safety and the benefits and quote unquote consequences of creating psychological safety. And I'm going to say from an individual perspective and and also organizationally, we'll see how deep I get. I am thankful for wall outlets. I am thankful for electricity. I'm thankful for charging cables. I'm thankful for automobiles, different modes of transportation. I'm thankful for pets. I'm thankful for teeth and smiles and dimples and eyes and muscles and gyms and tension, challenges, friction, growth opportunities, adversity, awkwardness, uncomfortable, discomfort, hope, patience, grace, forgiveness, trust, vulnerability, transparency, openness. Did I say healing? Time, lessons, learning, clouds, blue skies, rain, storms, thunderstorms, the ocean, sea life, starfish, glow in the dark fish, fireflies, birds, all kinds of different birds, hummingbirds. Okay. The importance and impact of psychological safety has been super paramount in um, with a so kind of watching, observing a relationship unfold and the impact and importance that psychological safety, right, emotional safety, physical safety, spiritual safety has played in the healing of the parties involved has been fascinating. Some questions: what is your understanding of psychological safety, emotional safety, physical safety, spiritual safety? What is the impact of creating safety? How safe, how safe do you feel in the relationships around you right now? How safe do you feel in your relationships, your personal relationships? How safe do you feel in your professional relationships? What what environment or culture has been created personally and professionally, and how safe does the culture that you're in at home make you feel, make your family members feel? How safe does the culture at work make you feel and make others feel? And for my entrepreneurs that are listening, what culture have you created as an owner, and specifically, how safe do your team members feel? For all my military homies out there, how safe has your chain of command made you feel? And before you poo-poo me, one of the organizations that was actually studied for this whole kind of conversation was SEAL Team 6. And just how psychologically safe SEAL Team 6 makes their operators feel in order to perform at literally the highest level on the planet, along with the other, tier one organizations and tier one units out there. So before you make an assumption that psychological safety is quote unquote for the weak or for the soft or whatever, your understanding of psychological safety is probably not accurate. Because if tier one organizations, i.e. SEAL Team 6, have the ability to create psychological safety in order to operate at the highest levels, there's obviously something to this. Here's the $1 million question. How is psychological safety created? How does an organization, an individual, a family member, a team member create psychological safety? I will tell you, so this episode, I'm not going to go into all that stuff now. I just want to start planting some seeds around this incredibly, incredibly powerful topic. And what doesn't create psychological safety? When do you not feel safe in an environment or a culture, either at home or at work? What puts you emotionally at edge? Again, whether you're aware of it or not, your environment impacts and affects your thoughts, which impact and affect your emotions, which impact and affect ultimately your performance, your results, outcomes, performance, and engagement, and impact. So this is kind of an intro into the topic, the critically important topic of psychological safety. And here's the deal. Oh, snap. Here's the deal. If you are walking around with a nervous system that is unhealed, unstable, unpredictable, what is your ability or capacity to make others feel safe? And how is your ability to make others feel safe impacted or affected by your own nervous system not being balanced, or again, not feeling safe? So this is real stuff. And I will tell you, again, watching this relationship unfold where folks have created safety, the amount of healing that is happening is absolutely fascinating. So obviously, most of you guys know my background is in executive coaching in the area of emotional intelligence, and now currently working at a great organization, and very involved in the people. Like, people is what they brought me on for, is the people side of things. And the impact of creating safety on a team in relationships has tremendous ability and power to not just make the team and organization run better and the individuals perform better, literally up to and including creating opportunities for healing. It has been absolutely fascinating and powerful to watch real time. And so, and again, this happens in individual relationships. This happens in the family unit. This happens in on teams, at work, in business. What would happen to your family, to your team, to your organization if creating safety, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, psychological safety were not just a priority? What if you as a leader became world class at creating safety? What would that team look like? What would that family look like? What does emotional safety, psychological safety feel like? What does it look like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? What does it sound like? If you feel like this episode was helpful or created some thoughts that were inspiring, convicting, challenging, please feel free to give me a review for this particular episode and be specific on the reviews. Like what episode was impactful? Why was it impactful? How was it impactful? And then share it with a friend, a family member, a coworker, a colleague. If you feel like maybe there's some value added, that would be super awesome for my and both for my podcast listeners, for my YouTube, for folks that are watching on YouTube. Super grateful for you guys. Thank you for being, just and honestly patient with my own growth journey. You guys have been with me through some thick and some thin, and man, I am absolutely a work in progress. Absolutely still learning a ton and growing a ton, and I'm so humbled and grateful for the people that God has put in my life to honestly to help facilitate my growth and healing and change and transformation. So for all of you that are whether new listeners, new watchers, or old school, I'm super grateful for each and every one of you. Your emotional health, your spiritual health, your emotional fitness, your spiritual fitness, your physical health, mental fitness are all so worth the discomfort that is oftentimes necessary to become the best version of who God's called you to be.